Word for you today, this Wednesday, September the 13th. Next 3 days, we're going to be looking at Don't Burn Out. Our scripture passage comes from Proverbs 20, verse 6. It says, "Many a man claims to have unfailing love, but a faithful man who can find?" Burnout is when we're trying to do too much in our own strength. Burnout happens at all occupations, happens at all ages. What does this proverb here in Proverbs 20, verse 6 tell us that can help us with burnout? Well, it says that many a man, and some versions say most men, claim to have unfailing love. What is it saying? It's saying that most of us, all people, and when it says man, it's talking about mankind, men and women. They have the same characteristic, and that is they claim to have something that they really don't. Remember when Peter promised Jesus, doesn't matter if all these other guys fall away on account of you, I will be there by your side. And Jesus says, will you really, Peter? He says, tonight, before the cock crows in the morning, you will deny 3 times that you even know me. Peter goes, no way. You know what? Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And sometimes we do that. We say we would never do something, but we get burnt out, we get tired, we get worn down, and we do things that we never thought that we would do. We want to be faithful, we want to be good, but sometimes we just run out of energy. So when we trust in ourselves and not God, our hearts stray away from God. We don't grow spiritually. We quit believing. We don't see God at work even when He is at work. Our lives feel pointless. What's the use? And we feel alone. When we rely on ourselves, we get to the point where these things happen to us. That's why we feel. Notice each of them talk about how we feel. But a faithful man who can find. So there's not many faithful men. Why not? Because most of us rely on our own strength, not God's strength. God has incredible things He wants to do in us. So how can we be the faithful man that this verse is talking about? We don't have to worry. We don't have to do anything to be the unfailing love person. But to be the faithful man, we have to do something. One of them is pray. Go off by yourself and just listen to God. Just talk to God, listen to Him, have a conversation with God. And a funny thing is going to happen as you talk to God. Your thoughts are going to move from yourself to God. When I'm relying on my own strength, I feel alone. I'm not growing. I don't feel like there's any hope. I feel like life is worthless. There's no use. I just go down, 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 down. But when I'm praying, my mind suddenly goes to God and not me. And the world looks a whole lot different. So go to God and pray. Just that quiet time away from Him, away from everything else, just to God. Just go and spend time with God. And then do whatever God tells you to do. It's about obedience. Start with small things. Start with something small, and then just do it. You say, what would be something small? I remember one night I woke up, and it was winter time, and it was warm under those covers, and I felt like God was saying, get up and go in the living room with the couch and kneel down and pray. And I thought, I can pray here just as fine, and plus I'm comfortable. But I just felt like God was saying, do that. So I had a decision to make. Am I going to get up in the cold and go into the cold room and pray? Or am I going to stay there? It's obedience in the small things that lead to obedience in the bigger things. The world we live in today can be depressing, it can be fearful, it can be discouraging, but it doesn't have to be. And we burn out when our thoughts are on ourselves and not God. Take a oil lamp. Oil lamp, you have this container, and it's got the oil in it. It's got this wick, and you bring the wick up and then you light it. And what is burning? Is it the wick or is it the oil? Well, as long as you have oil there, the oil's seeping up, and it's the oil that is burning, not the wick. And as long as you have oil in that lamp, it'll keep burning. But what happens when you run out of oil? Then the wick burns. And pretty soon the wick is gone, and there's nothing to create light. So the question is, you and I are the wick. God is oil. The question is, in your life, what's burning? The oil? It's giving the light, the oil or the wick. If it's just the wick and there's no oil, you're going to burn out. Don't do that. Have a good day.